Hey, so welcome back, and this is another daily code problem. So today it was called Dota2 Senate, and it's a medium level question. And so for this, I'm going to give you a greedy solution for it with two queues that we're going to implement. So all that you're given is basically a string, and it just represents two different parties that they can belong to. One's radiant and one's dire. And basically, you're having a procedure where you're voting for changes in the Dota 2 game, and it kind of iterates through this list from left to right and says, okay, this person can vote, then this person can vote, then this person can vote, and they'll kind of vote with their party, and they want to vote against the other party. And at each kind of turn, they have two decisions. They can either ban one of the senators directly to the right of them. And so in this case, R can ban the senator directly to the right, which is D, and so forth. And then you're going to also be able to say, okay, if all of the senators that are left in this queue are all the same, then you can kind of announce the victory and just end it there. Okay, and so to do this, what you're going to do is we're going to want to pull the double-ended queue. And we're going to want to have two queues, one for radiant, one for dire, and we can just call them R and D. And it's just going to be, we'll write it like this. Let's see here, so DQ. And then we're going to say, okay, I for I comma X, and this is going to represent like the party that they're in. And I'll just change it P, and I is going to represent the order in the queue that they're positioned, or I guess the order in this list, because we care about the order that they're coming in, because we want to give them their voting rights in that sequential order. And they're going to be banning the senators to the right of them. Okay, and so from there, we want to iterate through all of them in our Senate. But we want to enumerate this so we get their indexes. Enumerate. And we want to add to this queue whenever they're part of the radiant party. So if that party is equal to P, or R in that case. And that's that. So we want to do the exact same thing, but the reverse for the dire party. Okay, great. And from there, what we're going to do is we want to iterate while we have someone in our list here, and that's just going to say this. Okay, we want to keep voting against the senator to the right until one of these queues are empty, and that's kind of how we know when to announce the victory, because if one of the queues is empty, the other party won. And so we just say, okay, while R and D. And so from here, we want to return the result. So we want to say, okay, if radiant won or if the other party won. So we'll return radiant if there is a senator or like a voter left in that queue for radiant senators. Otherwise, we want to return dire because we know that's the party that won. Great. Oh, it's just because we need something to swallow. That's why we're seeing that error. Okay, and so the logic within here is, so naturally we want to pop from these queues each iteration. And so we can just say, okay, R and D, or I'm going to say radiant and dire. And let's just pop from our queues, so pop left. And same thing for the other queue. And so we have one choice here of saying, okay, we want to allow them to vote in the order that they're coming in, and so we really care about their index. And so from here we want to say, okay, if the index of this radiant senator is smaller than the index of the dire senator, then we want this radiant senator to basically ban this senator, and they'll get popped off that queue and they won't be re-added. And so in this case, this one won't be re-added to the queue, but this one will be re-added to the queue. And so we want to do here is say D, we want to reappend to this queue this index that we're getting here, since this here is the index that that member is coming in, plus let's just add the length of the Senate. So they're just kind of being re-added to the end of the line. So let's just do the length of the Senate plus the index that is coming in. Okay, and then otherwise we want the opposite of this. And let's just do this. And we replace this with radiant, or, oh, I had this inverted. Yeah. And this will be for dire. So if dire has an index that comes before this radiant party member, then we want to re-add it to the queue. Great. And from collections, I think, yeah. Let's go ahead and run that. Accepted. And success. So for time and space complexity, let's take a look at this. So this runs in O of n time for time. And for space complexity, same thing, since we're adding these queues, since we're just iterating through all the values in this list in O of n time. And then also we're going to be making use of these queues here, which is a trade-off with time and space complexity. So it's also going to run in O of n. All right, so I hope that helped, and good luck with the rest of your algorithms. Thanks for watching.